Okay everyone, this video lesson is all about estimating with percents. It's lesson 2.6. Make sure you have your notebook and that sheet that I gave you in class for the notes. We are at page 40, so please fill in the table of contents. We're going to call it the name of the lesson, Estimate with Percents. Go ahead and fill that in. So this is a really great lesson because it is applicable, or you can apply it to real life very easily. Everybody loves Excel, so this skill is very, very useful when you are out and you are trying to figure out if you're buying something and it's on sale for a certain percentage off, what would be your savings? So this is a skill that you can use when you are shopping and things are on sale. We love a good sale. So in your notes, regardless of, I'm going to show you two ways to estimate with percents. Regardless of whatever way you pick, you're going to have to change the percent to be a friendly number, and the actual number that we're finding a percentage of, you're going to have to change. So you're going to have to change the percent to the nearest 10%, and the number, the other number that's in the problem, to the nearest. If it's a two-digit number, you want to do nearest 10, either 50, 60, that kind of thing. If it's like 392, you're going to want to bump it up to 400. So it depends on the number, but we're going to want our numbers to have zeros at the end of them. So I'm going to show you one way and then do an example, and then I'm going to show you the other strategy and then do an example showing you that one. The first way we can estimate with percents involves equivalent rates from chapter 1. So we're going to set up a proportion and then solve for the missing value, just like we did before. So this is the example underneath. Just like we said in the beginning, we have to change these numbers so that they are compatible or friendly with each other. So I'm going to change this percent to the nearest 10%, so that is 50%, and I'm going to change 692 to the nearest 100, which is 700 is something. So I've changed my numbers. That's okay. We're estimating. We're finding about how much is 50% of 700. Now, this is important. Of is going to be an equivalent word that means multiply. Is going to be an equivalent word that means equal to. We're going to really deal with that next time, but that's a little preview. So to solve this using proportions, we are going to change 50% to its fraction equivalent, 50 over 100. That is going to be equal to something over 700. So that 700 becomes the denominator, and we have to find the numerator. That's simple because we've changed these numbers to be compatible with each other. We're going to multiply by 7 to get from 100 to 700. And what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. And that makes our answer. What is 50% of 700? It is going to be 135. And that's that. The second strategy I'm going to show you deals more with the mental math. This is something that you can use in the store when you're shopping to find out what kind of money you're saving when you buy that item on sale. So first, you're going to find 10% of the number, not the percentage, and then we're going to do this little multiply trick. So let me show you what I mean with the example. So based on that 10%, and here we go. This is already 60%. I don't have to change this one. It's already a percentage ending in a 0. But I do want to change 27 to the nearest 10. So what I'm really going to deal with here is 60% of 30 is what? So I've changed it. Now it's more compatible with each other. Now I'm going to do this 10% thing. So the 10% trick is that you're going to always write down this 10% and then take 10% of this number. when we take 10% of a number, the decimal point just moves over one place. So here's 30. 10% of 30 would be moving the decimal point over 1, and that would be 3. So that's that first step, taking 10% of this number. And all it is moving the decimal point over one place. So we have found 10% of 30, but we don't want 10%, we want 60%. How do we go from 10% to 60%? We would multiply it by 6, so we're going to do the same thing to 3, and now we have our answer. So it's using that idea of 10% and then multiplying to get our answer. Let's try some more. So I'm going to go back to the proportions to try example 3, and then I'll do a mental math one for example 4. So I'm going to change 17% to 20% of, and I'm going to change 198 to 200 is what? If I'm doing a proportion, I'm going to write this as a fraction, 20 over 100. I want that 100 in the denominator because the 200 is going to come down here to be the new denominator. This is really simple now because we've made them compatible, and we're going to multiply by 2, and we get our 40 for our answer. And that is using equivalent rates. Now example 4, I'm going to show you that mental math 10% trick. We're going to first change these, so I'm going to go down to 70%, and I'm going to go down to 40. It's okay if you go up or down, we just want those numbers to end in those zeros. So I'm going to write down my 10% because 10% is going to actually go to 70%. I'm going to need that when I multiply. Then I'm going to come over here and find 10% of 40. Remember, the decimal place moves over one place. So 10% of 40 is 4. And now I think, okay, how do I go from 10% to 70%? I'm going to multiply by 7. So I do the same thing for my 4, and I found my answer, 28. This is meant to be easy and things that you can do in your head. Of course, we want to write down what we're doing in our head, but this is how to write it down. Now, you will see some word problems. Again, when we are dealing with word problems, it's going to be the same 2 strategies we can think of to solve. And the key word, again, is going to be this word about. So you will see about in the answer. I know that's on your note sheet. So this is one that you can try, pause the video, and then resume when you're ready to see if you were right. You can pick either strategy to use. So when I'm reading this, I see that there is a percentage and that there is an amount. And she's deciding to donate 30% of her savings. So this is this of, that means that we're going to be finding the percent of a number, but we're estimating, so we will find out how much she actually donates. So I'm going to do the 10% trick, since the equivalent rates is a little bit of a review and the 10% trick is a little bit newer. So I'm going to have 10% going to 30%, because that's the amount that she's going to donate. I'm going to change 238 to be 200. I know it's dropping down a little bit, so my estimate's going to be a little bit lower than what she'll actually be giving, but that's okay. So now I'm going to find 10% of this number. Remember, the decimal point moves over one place, so 10% of 200 is 20. So there's the decimal point. So I'm going to write 20 right underneath the 10%. And now I'm going to think, okay, how do I go from 10% to 30%? I'm multiplying by 3, so I have to do the same thing, and I will get 60, or she'll donate about $60. It's not exact. Again, the word about, we're just estimating. We're going to do this more in class tomorrow. I hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.